So, just to, we have more coming from. I tried discussing this issue with my pastor now as a grown man, right? But then again, he was next Sunday, he preached about our conversation, though he didn't mention my name, but I left the church. I narrowed my energy and he went into photography. Patrick, I am so happy you're sharing this because we need to share stories, you know, sharing stories. It liberates you, I believe that. It liberates you and then it helps someone to make them know they're not alone. When I shared my story, some people are like, well, it's many years later you're sharing, and what are you hoping to get from it? Now, it might not help you for those that are, they talk about this, those that should really shut up. But there's someone there who's actually listening, and you don't know that little thing that's saying, well, if I look at her, I look at Obahor, she's internationally a filmmaker, right? It's like, wow, so these things she did, she went through this thing in her life, which was very traumatic, but how, wow, if she's able to do this, do you see what I'm saying? That means, wow, I can be somebody too. Do you see what I'm saying? This find me. I look at her message, I'm like, oh my God, that movie star, oh my God, she's doing this. Again, thank you. I'm not trying to be, because some people be like, oh, she's not being motivated. The truth is, we've gone beyond. And then you look at Patrick, and the reason why I'm happy with Patrick, thank you so much. Patrick has Nigeria, in Lagos, actually also in Abuja, where he's in photography. I mean, you should go to Patrick A. Patrick, could you put your Instagram hand? People can see it. His photography blows me away.
That's therapy for him.
Oh my God. And that's what he's saying. He said he channeled his hurt, his disappointment, went into. You should look. Oh, Patrick, I soon is something we're talking about. He's going to have kind of to exhibit work, but my goodness. So yes, and I know people hurt, you know. They write songs, they write scripts, but the truth of the matter is, like Evelyn said, talk about it. It's not because I've heard people say some of the letters, I can't go into all the letters, but hopefully by, you know, talking about this, some of you know that I'm talking about, wrote to me about. Talking about it, sometimes it hurts because someone said, okay, this is Marianne. Marianne is from Edo State. She lives in Auchi, Edo State, and she said, people say to talk about these things, but you talk about it. Personally, it hurts me when I talk, and I don't know who to trust when talking about it because my husband must never know. My husband must never know that I was raped. The support network is, you know. So Patrick left it there at Patrick A. Okay, at Patrick A. Check out his. Oh my God, Patrick again. Most men will not talk about it, so it's nice that you talk about it, and people don't really. Kids grow up to be adults, you know. Got to wait to leave that child. That thing keeps coming. So I know you mentioned that therapy, because it can be more clinical, and there are different types of therapies out there, you know. So maybe there are people who, you know, well, let me just leave that. What do you find? You think that deals with things like this? Because if you ask me, just like Patrick did now, shared with us, I think sometimes churches even make people feel bad.
Yeah, churches make it worse. Yes.
Why?
I wouldn't have a clue. I wouldn't have a clue. I think a lot of it is being too religious. Yeah, I think people are, you know, for instance, why would anyone say to me it was my fault? Why would a pastor come out to say to me it was my fault? What did I do wrong? Do you
Right.
get?
Yeah.
And if not for the fact that I'm more of a spiritual person, I'm not religious at all, right? I know who God is to me, who Christ is to me.
Right.
That could have killed me. That could have knocked me. I could have turned away from God very easily,
Right.
you
Right.
know. But because I know that strength that I had came from God, right? But I only wanted, how would I put it? My family, my church family, right, to help me in whichever way they could. But she didn't. So I left it. I was very angry. I'm not going to lie about that. I was very, very,
No.
very angry.
It's
And for the
very
fact that she was a
I
woman,
I was angry. Yes.
you know.
I mean,
So,
you've
yeah,
got and then on top of that, she's in a church. She's a pastor, a leader, you know, and a young lady comes to you crying first thing. Because I'm thinking in that situation, if you're presented with a man, woman, you're going to run because you feel, with kindred spirit in front of the woman first. You know what I'm saying? Only to find her saying, please, it's your. I understand that though, but this thing happens though. Look at Patrick now. He told his pastor he's struggling. Something that happened to him back when as a child, and now as a grown man, he's let me share this burden. It's killing. It's I'm going to talk to your leader, your father, and he about it on the pulpit.
so
Do you think? I don't know because what I'm going to commercial anyway. But you know me, I've always said. Now there are good women. Don't get me wrong.
oh yes, definitely there are.
I mean, you and I can imagine a woman coming to you, sharing her bedding, and to fault find her. You won't do. It's the same thing with me. I'm compassionate. But what makes women? Because I keep hearing this. I can answer. Hold on, let me pick one. So let me pick one. So this is from Ada in Enugu State, and got raped. Again, I'm going to paraphrase because I started. And let me see her case. Her case is she spoke to her. Oh yeah, she spoke to her mother. Her mother beat her when she was. Her mother said it was her fault. Oh shoot, I'm looking at now. This one was actually some of the stories are just heartening. She was raped by her dad. Her mother talk about it.
I've had some. I've heard. Well, one told me she was raped by her pastor, and anally. So you can imagine. You can imagine what she went through, and how she saw the church. I mean, it's a very sad situation, but hey, these things happen, and